circulated an agenda. Any objection to the agenda as we had circulated it?
Nope.
All right, hearing none, the agenda is adopted. Moving on, and we should be able to keep this fairly quick. I wanted to provide a brief update on the district needs statement and the budget requests from the committees. So at the beginning of the summer, we had gone around to each of the committees, and thank you all for your help in doing that. And basically gave them their sections of the district needs statement, the budget requests that were associated with their particular committees. And we asked them to do a top to bottom review of those sections and those budget requests and to more or less make any changes that they saw fit. And at this point in the process, we're in pretty good shape. We've heard back from almost everybody. I think almost all of the DNS sections have been revised in one way or another by each of the co-chairs. The one outstanding area is the Housing and Land Use Committee, where we haven't heard anything back from them at this point. So I want to see, Miriam, can you touch base with them and just see if there's any way to move the ball forward, if there's anything that they've done that they haven't sent us, or when we can expect that?
Yeah, I can definitely email them right after this. I didn't realize we were still waiting to hear. I mean, obviously, um, there's going to be a lot of similarity to last year, but I do think there's some new items they'd like to include, so we should definitely get that included in this year's report. So I'll email them right after this.
Perfect, thanks. And I think that's right, that there's going to be a lot of similarity, but I would like for them to have the opportunities to go over everything and just make sure that the messaging aligns with the work that the committee has been doing over the past year. Especially since it is always one of the most important issues that faces the district. So that's where we are in the DNS on the budget requests. Mostly the same story. There are still a few stragglers where we have some budget requests that have been submitted, others where I know in a couple of instances people are going to be submitting additional requests, hopefully in the next week and a half. But I think we generally have the universe of requests that we're looking at, and at this point going forward, it's really just going to be going through them and prioritizing them and cleaning them up and adding data where we can. But that should be fairly straightforward. So hopefully that won't take too much time. So that's where we are on the DNS and the budget requests. Any questions about that or anything else that anybody would like to add? All right, seeing nothing. So moving on, the next item on the agenda is a discussion regarding a proposed resolution on the top 3 pressing issues overall within our district. And so this is something that we do as part of the DNS. The city always asks us to identify the top 3 pressing issues, and they've been roughly consistent for the past few years. Affordable housing is always an issue. Public education is always an issue, and social services are always an issue. I think in prior years we've focused on it as food insecurity. I think the way city planning categorizes it is social services overall, and so for this year just went for specifying the broader category, especially since a lot of the needs fit within that as well. And I think looking at the data roughly aligns with our lived experiences and matches with our understanding of exactly what our biggest challenges are. And so I just wanted to put the resolution on the table and just see if there was any discussion about that, if anybody had any questions, proposed amendments.
I have one question about that with the social services side of things. I know you mentioned that it addresses food insecurity. Does that also include things like healthcare access, or would that fall under a separate category? I mean, yes, did that come up at all is my question.
So I think it's a fairly broad category, and I think it has several different overlapping issues. I think access to healthcare in particular is a separate issue. I think this roughly maps to the different social services that are provided by the city into the district.
Okay.
And I double checked also the city put together a roundup of all of the different top needs that were identified by the different community boards, and our requests roughly align with what the other Manhattan boards are doing.
Okay.
Anything else for discussion on the resolution?
No, I mean, I think it looks really good. Unfortunately, the needs remain consistent, so I'm glad we're putting them forward this year.
All right, wonderful. So I'll call the question. All in favor, if you could raise your hand. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, and so that's everybody. So none opposed, no abstentions, and no for cause. So resolution carries. So we'll work with the staff to get that on the agenda for the upcoming full board meeting for next week. All right, so moving on. We're now in the open-ended portion of the meeting. Is there anything else that's on anybody's mind, or that anybody wanted to raise at this point?
No. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I thought I was on mute, but I didn't know if I could speak. This is not necessarily related to budget and strategy, but I guess apart from that, I was hoping to run for technology and communications chair, and I just wanted to kind of float that and let people know. So I just wanted to mention that as a quick thing. But apart from that, nothing related to budget and strategy.
All right, wonderful. And that's certainly very exciting to hear.
Yeah, so if you have any questions or any ideas, please let me know. Any thoughts, comments, concerns, and stuff. 'Cause it's very exciting.
Yes. All right. And we can circle back offline separately about that too. Okay, wonderful. Alex, is there anybody from the public who is here who would like to be promoted or otherwise speak?
Right. I see two attendees. Neither of them have their hand raised, and I don't see any questions in the Q&A, but if anybody has a question, feel free to raise your hand or put it in the Q&A and the committee can get back to you.
We'll give everybody just a minute. If anybody would like to speak from the public, if you could just raise your hand and we'd be happy to promote you. All right. And Alex, we're not seeing anybody, right? With their hand raised?
No.
Okay. Well, with that then, I think that's everything. Thank you again, everybody, for being able to join. And is there any objection to adjourning at this point? I see shaking heads. Hearing none, we will adjourn. Thanks again, everybody. See you next
Thanks,
week.
Carey.